Hello everyone. Today, we will be reviewing a sighting, the subject of this sighting being shadow people. This review has a clearance level of 1. The section of this video regarding the narration of the sighting will differ in tone from our normal format, and will return to normal afterwards. Here is the submission. So, this happened when I was about 7 or 8, maybe. I don't exactly remember how old I was, but I know from afterwards that I was in the schoolyard for the people in grade 4, 5, 6. So I think that was around 7, 8, maybe 9, but I don't think it was the later half, so must have been 7 or 8 years old when this happened. I don't think I was home alone, but I kind of remember being home alone. Maybe it was that someone was in the house but on a different floor, behind some doors, in an office somewhere, I don't know. So with this house, the layout is that I've included a sketch, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. Where I was from the living room, behind me was the fireplace. On the right side of the fireplace, like right on the right side, there's an entrance to the kitchen, and the dining room is near it. And on the other side is another entrance, kind of, you have to go straight then right. On the right side you have to go just straight. So you go straight then right, and you're in a little place with the island, door to the basement, and again, it kind of leads into the kitchen. And on the left side, kind of near that left doorway, if you go left instead of right, you will go to the big entrance area, and you'll have a staircase on one side, a hall to a bathroom on the other side, and straight forward there's the door to the exit to the house. And so basically I was sitting in the living room, kind of closer to that left side of the fireplace, and I kind of always had this, that childlike fear. You flip off the lights and run up the stairs, and you think something's chasing you but there's nothing there, that sort of thing, where you just kind of always feel this fear for no actual reason. Scared of the dark, scared of the monster under the bed, scared of the monster in the closet, that sort of thing. And I had that fear that day. I was facing the wall of the living room, opposite to the fireplace there. In the sketch you can see the fireplace, and I was kind of facing away from it towards the wall where the TV might have been, or something like that. And I felt that fear, that deep gut fear, but it felt a little bit stronger than normal, although maybe I'm just remembering it that way. And I normally don't like having my back to open space. I try and put my back to a corner because, again, I was a paranoid child, very scared all the time. But my back was to the fireplace, again, maybe watching TV or something. I turn around, and that's when I see it. This tall, looming figure just staring at me, but it wasn't there at all. It was like I had just seen it and then blinked, and I'm kind of seeing its after image, sort of, after I blinked. So I guess I never really saw it at all, or maybe that's just what it looked like. I've looked this up afterwards, and the closest thing I can kind of say it looked like was like this thing called persistence of vision. If you look that up, that's kind of exactly what it looked like. And it was, I was a child, so I don't know how big it was. Maybe it was the size of a normal adult, maybe it was much more towering, but it was just watching. It was peering around the corner, looking at me, or at least from what I could tell, and tears started flowing down. Just from the fear alone, like it was something that was just so intense. that I couldn't control the emotions and maybe not even the emotions, maybe it was just the response from my eyes without me doing anything. And it terrified me. I don't think I was alone for a week after that. I tried to have someone in the room, and honestly, I hadn't really thought about it too much afterwards, but there's a few things that brought me back to it, and of course more recently, I guess just from seeing the channel, I started thinking about it again, and that's why I'm describing this now. Afterwards, some, I guess, strange things happened. They could be coincidences for all I know, but I guess that's your job to figure out, huh? I talked to my friend in that schoolyard I was talking about, and basically described this thing, and he said, oh yeah, they call that the hide behind. And I was shocked. This was some real thing that people have seen. I said, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And then he just told me he was joking. He just made that up on the spot. He didn't actually mean it. And I was like, okay, and I moved on. And I guess I didn't think about it for a while, but as things happen, I see shadow people appearing everywhere, people saying they saw them. Heck, even in the Game Theory Live video, I saw it.
No, you've never seen anything you think was a ghost.
I mean, I saw...
Or could have been a ghost.
Stephanie, I grew up seeing shadow people haunting my walls and tampering with my light fixtures.
I did too. Not tampering with my light fixtures.
They were tampering with my light fixtures. I was concerned that they were, like, making it into a bomb fuse. It was very traumatic.
Oh my gosh.
They described seeing a bunch of shadow people. I couldn't escape the memory, and other people had seen this thing now. Before I saw it, I didn't know about shadow people. I didn't know it existed. I didn't know anything about them. But now it seems like, you know, now that I'm seeing them everywhere, it's like other people have seen this thing. I don't know if what I saw was real, but it still messed me up a little bit. And then something actually messed me up, not just kind of, that's weird. It kind of really got me confused. I was watching Gravity Falls, and there was this short that they made called The Hide Behind, which is the exact name my friend gave, even though he had never heard of this or thought about this. I mean, we were in, grade 4? Of course we haven't heard about this. And they gave it the exact same name. And obviously it didn't look the same, but it was generally the same thing. This creature that would stalk and jump behind as soon as you turned around. And that's what happened to me. I turned around and it was gone. I never saw it. I just saw its after image because I was unlucky. I don't know. I don't know why it was watching me, but this was a connection, and it was the same exact name. I didn't understand why, how, I guess, more than anything. But that's not even where it ends. I, of course, later got a little more into the paranormal, and by this point I'd started forgetting about this again. I mean, it was again back in my mind. I'm a kid with fear, some hallucination. I mean, if I think about what scares a child, it would probably be a tall, dark figure, right? So that could easily be my mind playing tricks on me, but later I found the hide behind. There are stories of these variants of shadow people in the woods that they call the hide behinds. They're specifically different from shadow people, because shadow people, like, just exist, I guess, but hide behinds kind of hide behind trees. They always are hiding behind and stalking and trying to get you to come closer. And they seemed a lot scarier, but these were like in the forest, I guess. I don't know, but it was another person who'd come up with the name, and I assume that's where Gravity Falls got their name. But how did my friend come up with the same name? And now I've seen all these connections. I guess I just don't know. Yeah, so I guess that's about it. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to submit a sighting, you can contact us at TheeASPFoundation@gmail.com. And yes, there's 2 E's in the. You can also leave a comment if you'd prefer. Now, at face value, this story is not the most interesting, a glimpse that could easily be a child's imagination filling in the gaps created by fear. However, there are some important details that are very interesting. First of all, while the credibility of what this was is in contention between imagination and full-on shadow person, the credibility of whether or not this happened is not. This sighting comes from, in my opinion, the most credible witness ever. This story comes from me. That's right, I'm analyzing my own credibility. Deal with it. And no, this is not why I got into the paranormal. I'd actually forgotten about this for many years. So let's analyze why this might be a shadow person, then go into the subsequent strangeness after the initial sighting. Aside from matching all the attributes of a shadow person, such as being a dark humanoid figure, watching, picking a subject that is alone, there are some details the witness could not have known at the time of the sighting that matches with the generally accepted details of the broader investigation into shadow people. This involves the aftermath. The witness's friend constructed the exact same name as those who had come before, independently from them. This indicates that the behavior that led to the attribution of this name is real and does not stem from discourse among witnesses and investigators. While this could be the result of the imagination finding fear in a hiding creature, such as connecting it to the behavior a stalker or predator employs, this does boost the credibility a small amount due to consistency. I just don't see that many imaginations conjuring the same creature with this level of detail. Sure, a broadly tall, dark humanoid plays into our fears of humans, fear of the unknown with darkness, fear of something powerful with height, and the fear of being watched. The details regarding these dark watchers, hatmen, shadow people, and hide-behind stories are just far too specific. Hide-behind behavior is seen more specifically in forest environments as one example, another being connections to other paranormal events. But I'd rather not delve deeper into those aspects right now, as we should focus on the account at hand rather than going on a tangent towards other sightings for the time being. Let's jump into the strangeness. Sightings of Fortean anomalies seem to have a lot of connections to coincidences and other strange occurrences. There could be many explanations for this, however. A cryptid kidnapping a child before a storm hits, hindering the investigation, could be seen as a paranormal occurrence. Or maybe animals have a better knack for predicting the weather, and thus when to strike. And as far as coincidences go, they're fairly common. Sure, some of the things that happen are 1 in a million, but there are always many opportunities for coincidences. If there are a million chances for a 1 in a million occurrence to occur, then statistically, at least one coincidence will occur despite having 1 in a million odds. Coincidences happen all the time, and seemingly strange events are no exception to this rule. Because of the proximity of these events, there's a very real threat of our minds attributing it to said event, and marking it as an oddity rather than the regular occurrence that it is. Although this is all surface level observations, and neither proves nor disproves whether or not this is strange. Altogether, there is simply a lack of evidence. While we cannot dismiss this as something that didn't happen, we certainly cannot confirm it either. And as I have mentioned in previous videos, we should not take strangeness as a factor that hinders credibility of an anomaly's existence. Strange things are just as real as crime, nature, and the universe. We should investigate with the same level of belief as we would in a court case, animal attack, or search for dark matter. While we always have to observe credibility in these cases, we also do not do so with prejudice. Anyways, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the change in format for a section of this video. Remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.